Hi, kindergarten. How are you today? It is Thursday today, and we are going to do some work outside today. I have a nice day that I'm recording on, so I thought we could do that. We're going to do, this is our last school day for this week. Tomorrow is Good Friday. There's no school. And then we have the weekend. And then during the weekend, we have Easter. And then we have all of next week, which is spring break. So I will be seeing you after that on April 20th. But I wanted to do some work with you today from outside here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to practice writing some words. So go ahead and get a pencil and a paper or a dry erase board, something to write on so that you can practice, and go ahead and pause me if you need to. All right, so we're going to write some words together. I'm going to say the word and then you're going to write them out. So the first one is hop. Let's write the word hop. So we need a p. So I'll write it on my board. H, p. You go ahead and write it too. And then we'll check it. Hop. There's the word hop. Hopefully you did yours the same. Let's do another word. Let's do the word sun. It's a sunny day today. Let's do the word sun. So we need s, n, s, n. Ready? You go ahead and write sun. And then we'll check. All right, let's do another one. This one has two digraphs. This word has two digraphs. Let's do the word chick. So it has a ch, I, k. So it had the ch digraph. Think about the ch digraph, like chen, ch. And then I, k. The digraph that makes a k sound. We know a C or a K, and also the digraph something makes a k sound. So go ahead and write chick. And we'll check it. How'd you do? All right, let's do one more. We're going to write the word this. So it's another digraph. It starts with a digraph. The, is, the, is. For this, the word is this. The, is, this. All right, so there are the words we were practicing today. It's always good to practice writing words when you hear them and think about them. So let me set that aside. And then I have a story to read to you today. It's called The Big Bunny and the Easter Eggs. The Big Bunny and the Easter Eggs. And so this is by Stephen Krall and illustrated by Janet Stevens. Look at that bunny. It is a big bunny. Wilbur was very big and very tall. He had great big ears and great big feet. And that was why he was chosen to be the Easter Bunny. He was strong enough to carry lots of baskets of Easter eggs. His legs were long enough for him to cross a road in a single hop. And because he delivered his eggs the night before Easter, he never had to worry about being seen. Everyone knows you're not supposed to see the Easter Bunny. This Easter, Wilbur had done all his work early. He'd woven lots of new wicker baskets. He'd dyed the Easter eggs and painted them with pretty designs. He'd made lots of jelly beans and chocolate candy. Everything was ready to deliver. On Easter Eve, Wilbur got sick. Oh no. His head was stuffed up. His nose was runny. His throat was sore. He had a temperature. His eyes were red and his ears hurt. Wilbur lay on his bed and groaned. Who was going to deliver all the Easter baskets? Hours went by. It was getting very late. Wilbur's rabbit friends came and banged on his door. Wilbur, shouted Hector. Wilbur, you have to get going. Wilbur, shouted Francine. Wilbur, it's after midnight. Wilbur, shouted Charles, and Henrietta. Wilbur, if you don't go soon, the children won't have any Easter eggs. I know, said Wilbur, but I can't get up. I'm too sick. Wilbur's friends banged on the door some more, but Wilbur felt too awful to listen. He took some more medicine, rolled over, and fell back asleep. Charles and Henrietta talked things over with Hector and Francine. Something had to be done. If Wilbur wasn't going to deliver the Easter eggs, they would have to deliver them for him. Hector and Francine loaded themselves with Easter baskets. Charles and Henrietta did the same. The baskets were so heavy they could hardly walk. The four of them struggled through the woods. "Hector," said Francine, "I can hardly see." "That's all right," said Hector. "Just follow me," said Francine, he said. At that moment, Francine bumped into Hector, and Charles bumped into Henrietta. Dozens of Easter baskets crashed to the ground. Broken eggs were everywhere. "I think," said Charles, "we'll have to think of something different." With his four rabbit friends got back to his burrow, Wilbur was still asleep. As they pounded on his door again, he opened one eye. "Wilbur," shouted Charles. "Wilbur, you have to deliver the eggs yourself." "Wilbur," said Francine. "Wilbur, there isn't much time." Wilbur lay in bed grumbling. He blew his nose and coughed. Hector and Francine ran to the burrow and dumped Wilbur onto the floor. "All right," he said. "I'm coming." He put on earmuffs, his scarf, his favorite jacket to make sure he kept warm. He put an ice pack on his head and a nice big handkerchief in his jacket pocket, and he tucked hot water bottles under his arms. "Hurry," his friends said. "Hurry, Wilbur." Wilbur shuffled to the door. "I'm going to do this because it's my duty," he said, "but you're going to have to help me." "Of course," said Hector. "Certainly," said Francine. "We're your friends," said Charles and Henrietta. Together they helped Wilbur load himself with Easter baskets. In a moment, there were baskets up and down his legs and around his ears, and finally he was ready. Wilbur struggled out into the woods with his friends pulling the red wagon behind him. He knew he'd have to hurry. It was almost daylight, but his joints ached and his head hurt and his nose was running and his cough was getting worse. At that moment, Francine jumped up and grabbed the newspaper. I think I skipped a page here. Oh, here we go. He thumped to the first house. Everyone was fast asleep. He left 2 baskets of eggs on the front door. So far, so good. And the next house, he creeped inside and left a basket by the little boy's bed. When he got outside, the sun was rising, and a paper boy was cycling into the driveway. Wilbur froze. He was much too tired to run. The boy was sure to see him. At that moment, Francine jumped up and grabbed the newspaper out of the boy's hands. She tossed it to Hector, and the two of them thumped off across the yard. "Hey," yelled the boy, "come back with that newspaper." He ran after Hector and Francine, allowing plenty of time for Wilbur to escape. When the group was back together, Wilbur caught his breath. He thanked Hector and Francine for saving him, but before he knew it, he was in trouble again. The three houses later, he was leaving the little girl's room when he had to sneeze. He reached for his handkerchief, but not in time to prevent a huge achoo. The little girl sat up. Wilbur dived under the bed. His ears and feet stuck out. Any second he'd be seen. Then Charles and Henrietta pulled the covers over the little girl's head. Wilbur jumped up and ran out of the house. That had been close. "Quick, under the sheet," shouted the 4 bunnies as a man reached out to pick up his milk. With so much hiding and diving to do, Wilbur left a lot of his baskets in very odd places. But finally they were delivered, and Wilbur was so tired he fell asleep. His friends had to pull him home in the red wagon. When the children started looking for their Easter baskets, they found them under bushes, on fence posts, and hanging from trees. It was the strangest Easter they'd ever had, but they didn't mind. Easter had never been so much fun. Can you see them looking for their baskets? And here's Wilbur at the end. All right, so we just read another book, and that was the number that comes after 129. After 129, the number that comes after 29 is 30. So now we need to erase the 2 and the 9. 130. 130. 130 books we've read. We will keep reading. You have a great weekend. Have a great Easter. I hope the Easter Bunny hides some things for you, maybe. Maybe you'll get a basket hidden somewhere. It might happen. We'll have to wait and see. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later. Bye.